Welcome, everybody. We're going to start with the roll call.
Oh, Meg, you did join us. I'm sorry. I don't see you on my screen.
I am here. I've been sitting here listening.
I apologize, Meg. I did not know that it's very odd because I don't have a box for you. I have one for everyone else, but you're not showing up in our Hollywood squares here, but that's okay. Yes, let's call the roll.
Great.
So I see that we have, and maybe it's because, are you calling in on your phone?
Nope, I'm on my Mac.
Huh. All right. Well, we may have some others who have joined as well. So
I can see lots.
we have
of
Meg
people.
Carlson.
Yes, here.
And we have Russ Westerberg.
Here.
And we have Mayor Nancolis.
I am here.
Jamie Bosiger did let me know that she was going to be late this morning. She had something prior to this meeting. We are missing Commissioner Vasconcellos. Or are you on the line, Commissioner Vasconcellos? No. And how about Commissioner Saylor?
I am on.
Oh, you are there. Oh, and now Meg, you just popped up. All
Yes,
right.
and Commissioner Walker is also here.
Commissioner
I am.
Walker?
Yes.
That is so odd that I do not have all of you showing on our screen, but that's okay. We will move forward. Thank you all.
Yep. So next order of business is to ask for approval of the minutes from the Airport Commission meeting of September 1st.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
having read the minutes, I move they be approved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried and the minutes are approved. Director Rebecca Hupp, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm sorry that we are not all together in person again this morning. It was so nice when we were able to have those couple commission meetings live and in person. Just so you know, we do have a few members of the public here who have joined in person. We have 4 members of the public, and then Sean is here to be my right-hand man. In case I need something, he's going to bail me out. So, and then we do have some others who have joined virtually as well. But I do have a presentation for you this morning just to give you some information about things that have happened over the last month since we were last together. We always talk about the airfield construction and the impact on our airfield. So we have been working on Taxiway Gulf, as you know, pretty much all summer, and we had a series of closures related to that. So that project continues and will continue into November. I don't know if you heard about this on the news or not, but a couple of weeks ago, we did have a suspicious package that was left on the curb, the lower curb, actually by the commercial transit lane on the lower level. And we called in the bomb squad for that. They x-rayed the package, but were not able to clear it based on the x-ray. So we brought in the robots, and it did take about 2 hours. Of course, this happened during our peak arrival time. We have about 2,500 passengers probably who arrive every night between, say, 10:30 and 11:30, 10:30 and 12. And so it really was a peak travel time. We diverted all the traffic to the upper curb. I mention it only because it's significant, only in that it gives you just a glimpse into the work that it takes and the teamwork that it takes to make everything at the airport just continue to run smoothly. Our biggest project that we're working on right now is our Taxiway Gulf. Phase 3 was actually completed on October 19th. Phase 4, which is the final phase, is underway and it is scheduled to be completed by the end of this month. We are embarking on a checkpoint expansion, and we've talked about the increased demand through the checkpoint. We're going to be removing here very shortly, like within the next week, part of the, we call it the fish wall, the glass wall that separates the exit lane and the screening lane. We will be removing part of that shortly, but that's a temporary fix. We will be, as we've talked about before, removing that wall and moving it over to the first lane of the exit lane. So as you come through the exit lane, as you may recall, there's 3 sets of double doors there. And we'll be removing one of the double door exits, so there'll be 2, and we'll add an extra lane for screening. So that will be coming, and our hope is to have that done by summer of 22, because during last summer, during peak times, our demand exceeded our capacity at our checkpoint. You may have also heard Alaska announced 2 new routes at the chamber dinner. They announced nonstop service to Idaho Falls, which is a new dot on our map. So that brings us to 29 nonstop destinations. And then they also added additional service to Vegas. So now we have 3 carriers serving that route as well. Did I miss anything on that? Well, yes, Alaska actually has added 8 new destinations. They've made Boise a focus city. So that's really exciting for us. And, you know, we saw a significant decrease during COVID and then substantial demand during the summer. And our predictions were that demand would fall off in the fall. And predictions are not always very good. We have actually seen substantial travel during the weekend periods. Fridays and Saturdays are now our peak days for parking. Our economy lot reached 65% capacity in October. So that tells us that people are continuing to travel, and we're going to have alternate plans for the Thanksgiving holiday travel. And we'll be purchasing a new ADA shuttle to accommodate increased passenger demand. And also, while we've all been out, we have several new employees. Brett is a new project manager and Jen is a new project manager. They both were hired over the summer. Brett started in July, and I guess Jen started technically in September, but they're both working with Matt on all of these projects that we're doing, whether it's the checkpoint expansion or the taxiway or, you know, any one of the other projects that we're working on. And then Milka is working with Michelle. She is our new administrative specialist, and Shauna is going to be working with Sean on our communications and public relations. And Sean actually is getting ready to be out of the office, can I say?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to be out on paternity leave for several weeks. And so we're really excited to have Shauna in that role to help him out. But also we've elevated Sean's role of where his focus is now more on air service development and business development. And so Shauna is going to be working more closely on some of our communication things, some of our social media, things like our airport commission presentations, and other presentations that we do throughout the community. So we're really excited to have these new team members who are able to help us execute on all of these things that we have that are coming up. I feel compelled to tell you that I did receive 2 awards. It's actually very exciting. The first one was awarded by the Northwest chapter of the American Association of Airport Executives. And the second one was awarded by Airport Experience News. And that was Director of the Year for the Medium Hub Airports category, which, you know, we've only been a medium hub for a very short period of time. And I said to them, are you sure? Because we just became a medium hub. And their answer was, absolutely, we know that. And it's a recognition of the growth and the work that we've done to accommodate the growth moving forward. But You know how I hate these things because I feel like it's bragging, and really it's just the work of the team. And we all know that. No one does all of these things by themselves. It's a 24/7 operation, and there's not a single person who could do it on their own. So it's really a credit to the entire team.
Madam Chair, is this where we say woohoo? Well done.
Yes, you're welcome to say woo-hoo.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. Awesome. Woo.
Thank you. September employments were down 6% compared to 2019. But again, I think this is still going to keep us well above what we're seeing industry-wide. And for the year, we are down 15% over 2019, of course, up 80% over 2020. So what we're seeing is traffic is rebounding. Looking at this next chart here, you can see the darker blue line is this year, and the gray line is 2019. The orange line is 2018. So we're back about to where we were in 2018, which really is exceeding the industry projections. So I need to move this on my screen here. I don't know if you can all see. So these are operating revenues. Operating revenues are up about 16%. And then operating expenses were up about 4%. So again, we continue to perform well financially. And I don't think there's anything really too outstanding in any of these categories. There's no substantial changes. Moving on, these are the quarterly reports that we see from our consultant, Mead & Hunt. We asked them to track several things for us related to air service. The first one is load factor, and you can see our load factor is ticking back up. It's not to where it was, but it is substantially higher capacity and passengers. So capacity is down 1%, passengers were down 22%. And again, this is the quarter ending, this is the second quarter of 2021. So this is not summer, this is really just before summer starts. So we show these are our top 20 origin and destination markets. So we're seeing some increases in passengers and revenue. And this really just shows the impact of COVID on our travel here. This doesn't change a ton quarter to quarter. We are seeing that Alaska and Delta each gained 1% of market share, and Southwest and American both lost 1% of market share. So Alaska now is our clear market leader with 28%. In the past, they've been very closely tied with Southwest, but they have pulled away in market share. Southwest is at 23%, Delta is 18%, United is 16%, and American has moved up to 12%. So our market is very segregated, which is good for competition and good for our community and good for airfares. This is one of the charts that we look at very closely. It's the forward-looking schedule. And again, so this is looking at November, December through April. And you can see that we're expecting very flat or even decreased seats in November and December. Starting in January and February, we're seeing a slight uptick in seats. In March, a substantial increase in seats. And then in April, we're showing a very substantial increase in seats. And we'll see if that holds. The airlines have been known to adjust their schedules as it gets closer. So this doesn't make me panic exactly, but I do expect that we will see a strong rebound in capacity this spring heading into summer. And then when we look at our seats per capita comparison, we look at our peers and we have more seats per capita than everyone except for Reno and Spokane. And our seats actually increased from 2.8 to 2.6 in this quarter. So again, showing the rebound in capacity being returned to our market. Boise actually is the largest of all of these peer airports that we selected. You may remember we actually changed our peer airports because we grew so substantially that we were larger than many of the peers that we picked. So we picked some new peers. And when we picked this, I think that Reno and Spokane and Charleston were all larger than Boise. And you can see today we have more passengers than they do. And also we have the second lowest airfare compared to our peer markets. And then this is the one that I really am paying close attention to. This is the year over year comparisons. And you can see even as of the end of the second quarter, year over year, we added 5 destinations. And if you look at that column over there, sort of towards the right, this is number of nonstop destinations. You will see that column. We're the only ones who have that type of additional service. Charleston has 3, Tulsa has 1, Spokane has 2. Everyone else has either a 0 or a negative number. And we have the lowest decrease, the second lowest decrease in passengers. And we also had the second smallest decrease in the number of seats. So you can see everyone else had very substantial reductions to seats and passengers. And that concludes my report.
Are there any questions from the commissioners to Director Hupp? Wow, good job, Rebecca.
Let me look at the chat.
Okay.
So Bill has joined us, Bill Vasconcellos, he's there.
Okay,
And he's able to hear the audio. Oh, he's,
good.
Okay, so I guess so there was an issue with the audio, but now it's back. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing any questions.
Okay, I don't see any. Jamie is now here too, so she's just joined us, I see.
All right.
So hearing no questions or follow-up, let's move into commissioners' comments. I'm going to follow the order that my gallery is on my screen. So first up is Mayor Nancolis and second is Commissioner Walker.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning. I guess mostly my comments would be what an honor it has been to be a part of this commission. As you know, I officially did not run for election. There was a new mayor, will be a new mayor in Caldwell come January 4th. So I have just a couple of months left and it looks like one meeting left besides this on this commission. And I just want to thank you for the privilege of being able to be a part of this. The past 24 years as mayor and 8 years prior to that as council member have been just the privilege of a lifetime. And along the way, I have met some remarkable, amazing people, and I consider all of you on that list. It's just been a pleasure and an honor, and thank you for the privilege of knowing you and serving on this wonderful commission. And to Rebecca and all the staff, you guys are rock stars. What you have accomplished and the way you have managed the entire airport through this COVID turn down is nothing short of phenomenal. And so I agree with you, Rebecca, that certainly it's teamwork, but there always has to be someone at the front of the spear, and you have certainly been that leader. So congratulations to you and all the staff. And again, just thank you for the privilege of being able to serve on this commission.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. We will miss you when you roll off. Commissioner Walker. You are muted. Still muted.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, to Commissioner Nancolis or Mayor Nancolis. Congratulations on a very long tenure as mayor of Caldwell. There's a whole generation of children in Caldwell that will look back and say, Commissioner or Mayor Nancolis was mayor the whole time I was a kid. Sort of like FDR was president the whole time my parents were growing up. So other than that, there's not much going on, just enjoying this fall weather. And I'll let it go at that.
Great. Commissioner Westerberg, please. And then we'll move to Commissioner Bosiger.
Nothing much here. Congratulations, Rebecca. Good job by everyone. I don't have a lot to report, just enjoying the weather. Hopefully, I'm hoping that American Airlines gets over their problem and I can get to Cancun and back on that airline without having to spend some unplanned time in Cancun or DFW.
We'll think happy thoughts for you.
Yeah.
Rod. Great. Commissioner Bosiger.
I as well don't have much. Just want to say congratulations to Rebecca and to Mayor Nancolis. We'll miss the mayor. It's been a nice change in weather, but with the change in weather brings different aviation challenges. And I know that the airport's going to do a good job of maintaining the airport. I'm looking forward to getting the runway opened up, as I'm sure most pilots are, but that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Vasconcellos and then General Saylor. We cannot hear you. It doesn't look like you're muted, so there must be another issue. I'm going to jump ahead to General Saylor while you see if you can get your audio going, okay? General Saylor.
Morning, all. I just want to offer my congratulations also to Rebecca and to Mayor Nancolis. We'll certainly miss seeing you, even if it's only on the video. It's exciting to see what's happening with passenger travel. It's coming back, and the new changes at the airport. And Russ, my daughter and her husband just went on that same trip you're about to go to, and American did well for them. So I'm hoping it does well for you. And with that, everybody enjoy the fall and have a great Thanksgiving. That's all.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Bill, are you back? Nope. I can't hear you. Apologies, but we can see your lips moving, but there's no audio. And for me, I did travel last month. I went down for a week to Reno, Tahoe for a conference, and it was smooth, very nice. I was TSA pre-check, no issues, went right through. Both flights leaving and returning were very nice. So it is nice right now to enjoy a little bit less of a congested travel scene. I did travel through San Francisco airport though, and it was pretty crazy. It was just people everywhere, which isn't too surprising, I guess. Rebecca, congratulations. You just keep adding up these honors and recognitions, well-deserved. We're very proud to be able to be your support team. And Mayor, have a wonderful retirement next phase. You definitely deserve it.
Well, thank you very much to all of you.
Bill.
Yeah, let me try. I'm getting a terrible echo here. Let me see.
We can hear you though.
Okay. I
We
think
can hear you and we see two of you.
I'm trying to use one of these. Sorry. Okay.
We're not hearing an echo, so go ahead and share your comments.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, congratulations to Rebecca and Mayor Nicholas. I think your team as mayor, and Mayor Nicholas has been nothing short of phenomenal. Since I'm getting in, I'm going to say more, but we are scheduled to fly to Hawaii on Saturday, so we're looking forward to that. We'll be on Alaska. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we move into new business and we are pleased to welcome Karen Bubb from the Department of Art and History. Karen's been a servant and fixture in our community for many years, and we're looking forward to hearing about the Arts Master Plan, landside and airside. Karen?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here with Amy Westover. Amy and I are the authors of the Arts Master Plan. We're going to trade off doing our presentation today. Our agenda for our presentation is to do a brief background, giving a little bit of context to the Arts Master Plan, discuss current staffing for airport public art projects, provide a high-level overview of what's in the plan, and then address next steps and questions from the airport commissioners. Our current staffing, Amy and I are doing all of the planning and the project opportunity scoping. We've been working closely with the airport leadership team. A special thanks to Matt Patea and Jill Singer and Rebecca Hupp for helping to advise us on the planning and the project opportunities. Our public art program manager, Carl Leclerc, stepped down and moved to another city. We have a new public art manager, Stephanie, who's beginning on November 15th. And so we look forward to orienting her to this plan and the work at the airport. We're also opening a new position for an airport program coordinator to replace an assistant position. That position closes November 8th, and that person will be focusing primarily on general fund projects, but will also support the public art manager in airport projects. And then we're also looking in the plan we put up for consideration the potential to hire a public art project coordinator for Boise Airport specifically, using the 0.4% for art to fund that position. And that depends on the project load of projects at the airport. So that's something to think about. And just in terms of a brief background, this is the first public art plan that we've created for Boise Airport. Previously, projects have been taken on independently, but without a long-term vision. So we're excited about the opportunity to create a plan for the airport. Our text draft is almost complete, and then we'll be going to a designer to design in December. We're looking for some feedback today on the overall plan draft and what's in it, and then some suggestions in terms of project prioritization. So a high-level overview of the plan. I'll just speak briefly about that. This is a really incredible partnership between Arts and History and Boise Airport. We're working really closely to make sure that the opportunities that we present are really serving the customer base and the airport services, and are also creating really diverse, interesting arts experiences that add to both our collection and to the experience of visitors. Amy, I'm going to kick it over to you for this part.
Sure, thank you, Karen. I'm so happy to be here and present this draft of the plan that we've been working on. And what you're seeing on your screen right now is a table of contents of the public art plan. So as you'll see, we have a introduction, context. We'll do mission and vision, curatorial strategies, and then go through our current public art collection at the airport, and then work our way into program management and art opportunities that we have outlined in the plan. And so this is our table of contents. So Karen, if you can go forward to the next slide. For the plan, here's a list of intended readers. Who's the plan for? We really have tried to write the plan and keep it in mind for usability for many different people, city staff and elected leaders, those who manage the Boise Airport services and communication personnel, of course, the Arts and History Department, Public Art Division, artists. It will be very important for artists who are commissioned for projects at the airport to use this plan and see a larger background and context of public art at the airport and where the public art collection is going. Community members and citizens, it would be available to view for the public. National public art colleagues and other city administrators. When we started researching and developing this plan, we looked to a lot of other airport public art plans, and Boise Airport's public art plan will also be something that other public art colleagues look at. Yet to be hired leaders. I think the big part of this plan is that it's getting everybody on the same page, so to speak, and leaders that are hired in the future can really see where we've been and where we're going. So the plan is intended to really bridge a lot of different people and groups. This is the vision and mission statement that we have put together for the arts plan. And you can take a minute to read that if you wish, but there is a strong desire to kind of make a concise vision and mission of why this plan has been put together. Okay, so goals for the commissioned art at the Boise Airport. Karen and I, as we researched and put together this plan, we really wanted a goal-oriented idea of how to kind of measure the different public art commissions. And goal number one, guest experience. And we worked with the airport to really put together these goals as well. And to see what was important to Boise specifically, Boise Airport specifically, and how we can bring those goals to the forefront of commissioning art. So the guest experience, number one. Goal number two, regionally reflective. We want the art at Boise Airport to show who we are and where we live. Goal number three, cultural partnerships, putting the Boise Airport into the wider context of our community. And goal number four, high quality. We want the art to be of the highest quality and well-produced and easy to maintain, which leads us into care and conservation, so that the artwork that we commission can last a long time, and it is really part of a collection that will have a care and conservation plan. And goal number six, public communication, wanting to be able to communicate with the public about the exciting art and opportunities at the Boise Airport.
Amy, could you describe what you mean by the regional cultural partners in goal 3?
Okay, Boise Airport's public art programs engage with regional cultural partners to showcase unique community character. So part of that goal is to, for instance, we have some public artworks already at the Boise Airport, the aviator and the firefighter, and wanting to put those types of artworks into a broader cultural context, like the different, like World War II museum, Karen, what is the firefighting?
The Wildland, NIFC, the National Interagency Fire Center.
And also
actually,
the Air Museum that is near the airport as well. So wanting to tie those artworks to those other organizations, and so that we can make those community connections.
And I'll also address, we actually have looked at public art programs in other cities, and there's some partnership examples that other cities are doing that we haven't done, and we'll introduce those in a little bit later. And that'll make a little bit more sense.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. So curatorial strategies for the plan. Number one, we wanted to kind of create a framework around the plan so that it was, we could really tailor the visitor's experience through the art, through the different areas and sort of zones of the airport campus. So what we've called our overarching curatorial strategy is landside, airside, which then is really talking about the landside art projects and the airside art projects, and how those two different zones could be looked at as a different way of going about commissioning public art. Collections management strategy is a way of thinking about the more exhibit type of, Karen, is that what you meant by collections management strategy there?
It's that every single piece is part of a larger collection, and to really see see each commission as how we're expanding the overall collection at the airport, and then also in the overall City of Boise collection.
Okay, gotcha. And then a range of opportunities. We really wanted to have a broad range of opportunities, both in the existing campus, as well as new construction and the expansion of the Boise Airport.
And a range of opportunities can be financial. So it could be smaller dollar projects for less experienced artists, and then larger budget projects for more experienced projects, for example.
Right.
So in the plan, we do an inventory of our existing public artworks, which you see here. We look at both the permanent works as well as temporary or portable public artworks that are specific to the airport. We also have Boise Visual Chronicle artworks, which is a collection of Boise-owned work by Idaho artists that we rotate in and out of the airport. Amy and I and Carl did a very in-depth art collection evaluation of every single piece in the collection. And in an appendix, there's actually very detailed notes regarding the state of the artwork and potential maintenance or conservation needs, and if we are recommending any deaccessioning. We also then go through and provide new recommendations. We were asked to really look at the whole campus of the airport and to think about the existing sites where public art could be filled in, as well as new construction opportunities. So it really looks at the whole footprint of the airport in all the public spaces. And then we also looked really carefully at maintenance and conservation. We looked at, does additional lighting need to be put in place? Are there signs that are really explain the work in enough detail? Are there works that need conservation? This piece, as was noted earlier, is going to be moved. And what's necessary to remove that piece and then reinstall it appropriately? Or does a piece need to be moved that then needs to be deaccessioned? So signage information, we're also looking at website updates. We've examined airports across the country and looked at how the public art program is represented on their website and how we might do that better. Lighting improvements. The piece in the food court is one of the pieces that we're looking at for deaccession. Accessioning means putting something into your collection. Deaccessioning means removing something from the collection. And the piece in the food court is a piece that we're looking at to recommend for deaccession because we feel it's not necessarily the best use of space, and the work has experienced some degradation that would need significant fixing. We've also looked at how do we create a more welcoming lobby in the waiting room. So this we've kind of put under the category of quick fixes. So there are a number of things that we could do initially once the plan was approved to do a number of small adjustments to the collection. And then program management. In the plan, there's actually an outline in terms of how public art projects are initiated and how those are managed. And then there's a pointer to the public art management documents that we have in the Department of Arts and History for consistency. Amy.
Okay, thanks, Karen. So the opportunities, we really wanted to take a really broad view of all the things that we were thinking about in putting this plan together. Consideration of campus-wide site opportunities, existing campus and also projected new construction, upcoming Boise Airport capital projects for new construction, Boise Airport priority guest services or facility needs. These were all part of our at the forefront of our thought when we were putting a lot of this planning and research together. Bold new directions for the program to expand and inspire visitors. That's really about looking to public art programs at other airports that are maybe a little more advanced than ours or have been in place for a while. And what are some of the directions they have taken as their airport has expanded? Time sensitive opportunities, Karen touched on that a little bit already. What are some quick fixes in the existing campus that we see as part of the collection, or areas that seem in the existing campus that could use a piece of public art, and just shows itself as a time sensitive opportunity. Partnership opportunities with community allies. We touched on that a bit in terms of really wanting to broaden our cultural representation of our regional area. Consideration of diversity, equity, inclusion. Of course, it's very important to have a diverse collection and a diverse range of artists that have opportunities to create art at the airport. And projects that are manageable for existing staff or provisions for allocations of additional staff. So of course, expanding this program means more manpower for both agencies, and we have made a recommendation for potentially an additional staff person to come in and help with some of these opportunities. This is the layout of an example of an opportunity page within the plan. And this is actually taken from the Public Works Public Art Master Plan, which we are also modeling the airport public art plan off of, so that there is a little bit of consistency across the board. So essentially the 2-page spread, it talks about what the opportunity might be, maybe a map or a location or an image of the site. And then on the other page, showing 2 to 3 precedent examples. Those precedents can be at other airports. They could also be just at other public art spaces. And we really tried to put together some precedents that really would give a broad view of how that particular opportunity could be thought about, and the range that other artists have come up with. So the precedent examples are just a way to be inspired about that particular opportunity. This slide is showing a page out of the plan that is listing the different opportunities. So at the bottom, you can see it says landside opportunities in existing spaces. So on the land side, this is pre-security. And then you can also see that we've broken it into traffic corridor and nature corridor. So thinking about the corridors, so there's kind of different zones in the airport in which we have named traffic corridor, nature corridor, and you'll see some others. And this is really just a framework and thinking about how people move through space, and using that corridor term as a metaphor for the different types of activities and how people interact with the space in these different zones. And then listing out the opportunities in those zones, and in the existing space, how we can enliven and activate those spaces that currently don't necessarily have a public art piece, but also could potentially create a great user experience at the Boise airport. Here's River Corridor, excuse me, first floor, second floor, and third floor. We've moved into the airport at this point, and we are looking at opportunities throughout the different floors in the interior pre-security. So just for example, there's the images that you see on the sides are relating to these different opportunities and different zones. So for instance, you see the rotunda there, and that could be a really fantastic space for suspended artwork that could really create an incredible welcoming opportunity to Boise Airport on the interior of the airport before they head to security.
Yep. And I'll just note as well, some of the other opportunities, we either looked at space where there wasn't something like that image of the, as you're coming down the escalators, there are bare walls. So we saw that, that gap as an opportunity for a site. Or we looked to spaces like the lower left where we have the advertising lighted boxes. There are a number of those that were that are empty, that are not advertisements. And we saw that as an opportunity where there could be artists, there could be a pool of artists that were identified and created images for those boxes, so that if there wasn't an advertisement, we could have an artist image. And then as those boxes were rented, we'd rotate that artwork out, and that could draw more attention to the boxes, as well as creating an artist opportunity. Or the conference room, we noted that they're named for rivers, but there's no visual identity about the rivers. So we could commission a photographer to do photographs of rivers, or somehow integrate images of the rivers into those. So that's where we were looking for how do we essentially enrich visually the experience of the user of the space with art.
And also, for instance, like the welcome sign, it's wonderful to have a welcome type of visual as you exit the security area, but perhaps that could use an update. So there's some things, some areas have something already, and often we will have a recommendation for maybe how to update that, how to enliven that to be a richer experience. Okay. Now we are moving through the security corridor, Airstream Corridor, and then landside, airside flexible locations, which might have opportunities on both sides, landside and airside. Security corridor is really the security area. And we've made a few recommendations of how to incorporate art in those areas that do not interfere at all with any of the security functions that need to happen there. Airstream Corridor is once you are in onto the airside and you are going through the different concourses. That's really what we're considering as the Airstream corridors. And obviously, you know, we're working towards an expansion with a new concourse, so that will be addressed in new opportunities. But on this opportunity page, the Airstream corridor is really referring to the existing concourses and opportunities that could enliven those spaces that don't currently have a piece of public art. Opportunities in new construction. Just want to take a minute to point out some of these photographs. We did have a professional photographer come out and shoot some beautiful images of the Boise airport and of the existing public art collection that we can use in the plan. And I'm just thrilled with the images. They just turned out beautiful.
And in the plan, we identify basically a framework for how to integrate opportunities into new construction. And there can be addendums to the plan that could be like mini plans for instance, the new rental structure that goes up, or the parking facility. So this is the new program opportunities. When we looked at other airports, and I'm sure you've experienced some of these, we saw some programs that we haven't initiated at Boise Airport, primarily because of our size, but we wanted to put these in the plan as possibilities for things to consider as we grow or at particular times of the year. One of them is a performing arts program where there's music. That could be a particularly good fit with Treefort Music Festival, for example. In the past, there's music at Christmas time or at high peak times with community groups. We could look at doing something that is either on a more regular basis at busy times or at particular times like festivals. There are some airports that have actual film screening locations on the air side. So we could look at some opportunity to showcase Idaho filmmakers. An artist in residence program is where you have an artist that's basically assigned to a location to either make work about their experience at that site, or to be sort of a live-in artist to create work that people can experience at that site. And there are opportunities where that can happen at the airport. We've looked at, in other airports, they will often be working with community groups to do changing exhibitions that are either in cases or on the walls. And there are opportunities for us to showcase things that are happening in our community and do exhibitions in partnership with other local groups. Temporary exhibits of individual artists is something that we haven't really done. That's an opportunity to showcase more artists and then not be purchasing and having to maintain or care for that work long term. It also keeps the space more active and interesting for visitors, particularly who are coming frequently. Because we're the Department of Arts and History, we are especially interested in potential for history installations and exhibitions. We've had a number of conversations, in particular with the military, to showcase the history of our relationship to Gowan Field and to the Army and Air Force. We'd love to do some history exhibitions with them, and they've offered to pay for those exhibits. And then we've also had extensive conversations with the Native American tribes that are from this area, which the military also works with. So there's no real visible information about the tribes at the airport. We'd like to change that. And then there's also a history wall at Boise City Hall that was created by our city program manager, Brandy Burns, that could be replicated easily for the welcoming area. We think that would be a really beautiful addition that would give an incredible history to the city of Boise and be a nice piece for people who are waiting to be able to look at. And then we're also looking at increasing our arts marketing and education engagement. We have a new education program manager at our department. We think there's more opportunities to provide education. So our next steps are to finish the text of the plan and send that to the designer to print and create web versions of that. To work with Boise Airport to share the plan both internally and then externally through presentations like this, to identify what kind of quick fixes that we want to do right away, to start really fleshing out specific opportunities that are prioritized by leadership and the public art team so that we can start working on projects, and then prioritize those project rollouts. So lastly, we wanted to talk with you about what current project priorities you'd like to see us see public art amplify. What are the upcoming capital projects that you are specifically interested in having public art connected to? And are there other locations in the existing campus that you feel strongly about seeing public art? And these are questions to help us to prioritize what we're doing. And with that, I'll end our presentation and stop sharing so that we can go back to seeing everybody and then open it up for those questions. And any questions that
you leave those questions up, actually, just so commission members are thinking about those questions as they're speaking. It might be helpful.
Yep.
And maybe they're probably all smarter than me, remembered exactly what the questions were that you wanted to answer.
I could also put those in the chat. Maybe that would be helpful.
Okay, yeah, that would be good.
Great. So thank you very much. Very comprehensive. I applaud the two of you developing a long-term plan. We're real believers in comprehensive planning and the values that it provides. So we appreciate that, and good for you for taking that on. I know it's not an easy task. I think at this point, let's open it up to commissioners and just ask for comments or feedback to Karen and Amy.
I put those questions in the chat for you.
Great, thank you.
Madam Commissioner,
Yes.
great presentation. That this side of my brain isn't as strong, the art side of it, so I'm not sure how much I have to offer, but there's a lot of really good, you guys have clearly done a lot of work in thinking about how we can invite people into Boise and Idaho. I love the military and the Native American. One thing you might think about, a lot of people come to Idaho to visit the backcountry, and we're kind of a gateway into the backcountry. So might think about having a focus on aviation in the backcountry, because we're pretty unique in the lower 48 for aviation in the Frank Church Wilderness and the other wilderness areas that we can access.
Great point, thank you.
That's, yeah, wonderful point. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman or Madam Chairman,
Yes,
I appreciate all kinds of art, and I think the examples shown will be a compliment, a really nice compliment in the terminal. And I encourage the ladies to carry forward. But I also really appreciate Jamie's suggestion that maybe some focus could be on the fact that we are a gateway to Idaho's backcountry, and it's the area where many people are visiting the state want to come. So good work, keep it up, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
anybody else?
Madam Chairman,
Oh,
Yes.
Go ahead.
so Karen or Amy, can you give us an email address if we have some input for these questions that you put up? I often will walk through the airport and see something and say, well, it'd be nice if we could have something here or change this. But right now, I don't have any bright ideas in response to your questions, but maybe later, who would be the best contact person?
We both put both of our emails in the chat, so you can send that to either Amy or I or both of us.
Great, thank you. And I'd like to extend my greetings to Terry Schwarzman. I see she's in the meeting and she's done a great job. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Bill. Nice to see you.
Yeah,
Say hi, Jenna, for me. Yeah, thank you.
I will. Exactly.
Yeah, and thanks for the great presentation from Karen and Amy. They've done a lot of work over the
That was a presentation.
We can include the emails in the minutes as well.
Great, thank
And
you.
for those of you who don't know, Terry Scherzman is our Department of Arts and History Director. She's been with us since 2008, and she is sadly retiring in January.
Oh,
So we're grateful to
January.
Terry for her. We're grateful to Terry for her support and direction.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Hello, Marianne Collis. It's been a long time, so congratulations to you too.
Well, thank you. And I was just going to say, Madam Chair, thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful. When it comes to art, I think my taste is all in my mouth. So I always admire anybody. I mean, my wife decorates the home. If it's not camouflage or have hunting boots involved, I'm not much good. But I do appreciate the presentation and the effort. And we have a beautiful terminal, and certainly art can be used to tell a story. And I think that's what I heard here is that the story of Boise and the state and the valley and and our values. And I think that's all anybody could ever ask. And so I certainly trust the art part of it to anybody else other than me, other than just to say thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Anybody else? I have just one observation. So I spent 16 years with Ore-Ida Foods as an executive, and we had a number of senior executives on the management board who are very actively involved in the arts community across Treasure Valley. Both of them now are deceased. One's name is Pete Helming. Pete was actually the champion of the wings, designing the wings on the airport way back in 1998. And Tom Smith as well. Both of them made a lot of investments in art and supported our local art gallery. I'm familiar with those two because of Ore-Ida's longstanding engagement with the community back in those days. But there may be others. And my question is, have you considered sort of the, founding mother, father, sort of guides toward making sure that we were paying attention to art a long time ago and that it has continued to be a really critical part of the city's mission. So I would just ask you about that.
Thank you. I think that's one of the reasons that we really want to focus on community engagement in a way that we haven't previously. We focus primarily on commissioning and purchasing works, but not really highlighting our community partners who are also supporting the arts. So I think that that's an opportunity that we definitely see. There's also opportunities. We have done some sponsorship of public art in the past, and we see that as a potential way to work with partners who want to sponsor work to be able to expand the potential of what we can do at the airport.
Thank you. I also think of people like Chris Binion and Dwayne Carver who have actually collaborated on creating public art in other places in our community and are both extremely talented. And I'm sure there's a long list of those folks. So I think it's always helpful to acknowledge who brought you to the dance and then take advantage of being able to really grow from there.
Yes, and to expand upon that too, at the beginning of our research for the public art plan, we put together several different focus groups that were sort of different, targeted towards getting input from various different groups. And we did have a focus group that was more focused on like Chamber of Commerce and local big businesses. And so trying to gather that feedback early on. And then we had a focus group of artists, which included Dwayne, or maybe we just had Dwayne as the own category.
There you go.
But yes, so it was really important for us to get that feedback right away, actually, at the beginning of our research process.
Great, thank you. Rebecca, do you have any other comments?
Thank you for asking. I want to thank Amy and Karen and also Terry for their work on this. It's been a great process. And I think as many people have said, the left side of my brain is not as strong. And so art is not my forte, but I really have enjoyed this process going through this with them. And, you know, when I look around the airport, many of the things that make Boise Airport unique and that we love about it are things like the medallion on the rotunda floor, the fish wall as you exit security screening, and that's all art. And I don't know that passengers necessarily think of it as being art. It's just incorporated into the terminal, but it's what makes the Boise Airport beautiful. And, you know, whether it's the architecture of the rotunda. So I'm excited to continue that forward in some of the projects that we have coming up. You know, obviously we have parking garages that will be we'll be opening bids for that later this month. And you don't think about parking garages as being a place where you have art, but we do have walkways that come in from the parking garage. And, you know, we'll have lots of passenger traffic going through those areas. So there are opportunities for art in these projects. And I think it's important that we incorporate that and we take the places that maybe would be a little bit bland and really make them more attractive and more enjoyable and make them to be signature pieces for Boise. So a huge thank you to Amy and Karen and Terry. And I'm excited to see, you know, what we develop over the next year and more.
Thank you. Yes, it's exciting.
It's been a wonderful process, and I'm really proud of the plan. I think it's going to be one of the best public art plans for airports in the country. So I'm really excited to get it finished.
Great. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So at this point now, we open up to the public for anybody who has questions or seeking answers from the commission and staff. We ask that those discussions not exceed 5 minutes. And so at this point, we'll see whether anybody is interested in speaking.
I do not see anyone approaching the podium here in the Boise River Room. I do not see any comments in chat or any hands raised.
Okay, well, given that, we are in a position to adjourn. So I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chairman.
Yes.
I move we adjourn.
We have a second. Thank you. All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed, no? We are adjourned. Thank you,
Have
everybody.
a lovely day and have a happy Thanksgiving. We won't see you before then. So happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Yep. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.